What's up, sluts? I'm back. I'm like one of those parking tickets you get at the mall. I need constant validation from strangers. A while ago, a couple of non-native friends of mine asked me what's the worst thing you can call somebody in Romanian, which at the time gave me a bit of pause because, and I am well aware that I am going to be thoroughly corrected in the comments by my fellow nationals, but I feel like there's not really a scale of offensiveness that applies to Romanian cuss words. For instance, you could use to different effect the same expression on your friend who, for instance, wouldn't stop making puns, or when addressing a bunch of celebrities who thought singing a shitty John Lennon song about giving up material possessions and living as one and then returning to their $1 million estate was enough activism in the face of a dangerous virus. So kids, today we're gonna learn stuff. After all, most of us are in quarantine anyway. How many times a day could you effectively masturbate until it got boring? But before we start, I'd like to thank my wonderful Patreon supporters. So, in no particular order, shoutouts go to Ari, Blake Crone, Jesus Gonzalez, Katia Hancock, and Michael Untereg. Thank you guys so much. If you ever happen to run out of toilet paper, you can always just knock on my door and I'll lend you a roll. Oh, our first expression is actually one of my favorites. And it goes like this. Să-mi o vezi în ciorbă și să stai cu ea de vorbă. Which would roughly translate as, I hope my genitals manifest themselves in your soup and you have a nice pleasant chat with them, which I believe is quite beautiful. In fact, this is our wokest expression in the entire Romanian language because it relies a lot on the other person's imagination. Nothing is explicitly told. For instance, you really have to wonder what will manifest in my soup. Is it gonna be the tea? Is it gonna be something else? Who knows? One thing's for certain though, both genders can effectively use them, so both males and forced diversity in video games can use this expression and the meaning stays the same. So once again, we have să-mi o vezi în ciorbă și să stai cu ea de vorbă. Our next one goes out to all the witchy folk out there. And it's să ai mâinile până la piept, limba până la genunchi și să te mănânce în cur. Which normally translates as, I hope your arms reach your chest, your tongue reaches your knee, and you have an itchy butt. Granted, this one, along with the first one, are a bit longer than usual, so if you plan on adopting them and using them in the near future, you have to carefully evaluate the proper situations in which you can effectively use them. For instance, you have to follow somebody and bring the fight to them so that you have enough time to finish your expression, or if they're trying to come at you, bro, you would have to really use those 7th grade math skills to calculate if the distance between them and you is enough for you to finish your quip, because honestly, just getting punched halfway through the expression will just be awkward as hell. Next one is best used when trying to confuse and bamboozle your enemies. It's chapamoti, or the more formal, fanciful form, which is futus chapamoti. Now that would translate as fuck your mother's onion. And to be fair, I don't think I have ever heard this being said between two millennials or anyone from the younger generations, actually. So, as a rule, if I just hear it in passing, I'll automatically think it's being said by a disgruntled old man directed at a bunch of children that had just recently kicked their ball into his yard or something. Next up on the list is Sadefut an inima, which would roughly translate as fuck you straight in the heart. As you can tell, even from this rough translation, this expression just oozes a certain kind of passion. However, its meaning is more in the vein of, and I'll quote from a Vine artist who was way ahead of his time, "Mother trucker, that hurt like a butt cheek on a stick." For our next slot, we actually have 4 different expressions. Now, the reason I didn't just pick one of them is because even though they're all unique in their own way, they all have the same conversation ending energy. So, we have Moashe ta piazza, your mother on ice, Matagem, your mother as a ball of yarn, Makakan sus, I'm shitting upwards, Dau din craci pentru săraci, I'm shaking my ass for poverty. It's a bit hard to believe that all this actually means just nothing, go away. To go into a bit more detail, a good scenario in which you could use this is when that one annoying coworker asks you for the millionth time what your weekend plans are, despite you knowing full well that their reasoning behind this is so that you would return the question, so that they could tell you again about all the mountain trails that they plan to hike, or all the marathons they plan to attend, or their fucking CrossFit regimen. Like, who the fuck cares, Steve? Just fucking read the room, man. But instead, you can just pop one of these bad boys and you basically saved yourself about 15 minutes of useless conversation. So that's a life hack if I ever saw one. Our last expression has a bit of a backstory, so forgive me guys, I am forced by circumstances to go full recipe blogger on you. So this was my grandma's favorite expression. Now the thing about her was that she always thought that in life you ought to pick your battles. However, she was quite an ill-tempered person, so as a result she picked them all. So one time she was fighting with her sister, and in the heat of the moment, the sister told her something along the lines of, "I never want to see you again." So her reply was, "Fine, In that case, sama kak pe okitai, which obviously diffused the entire situation, because aside from it being pretty funny, like, how do you come back from that? What do you say in turn? Like, there's no returning from sama kak pe okitai. So yeah, our last expression, sama kak pe okitai, which would roughly translate to "I'll shit on your eyes," is something that you can also use in sibling fights, breakups, when you get fired, and other such occasions. Sama kak pe okitai. So that was all for today. If you reached this point, thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you liked my video, and I don't know, maybe support me on Patreon. I have this sinking feeling this video won't do too well monetization wise. I know, I'm just psychic sometimes. It's like I have ESPN or something. So, help a girl out. But anyway, stay safe, you guys. Stay healthy. Wash your hands properly, and don't take vitamin C to boost your immunity. Or, if you're the kind of person who just buys massive quantities of hand sanitizer and toilet paper with the purpose of gouging the prices once everybody becomes desperate enough, just take as much vitamin C as you want. Might as well just touch your face also while you're at it. So yeah, there you go. Bye.